The first time in history, a gallon of gas was higher than $4 in every state in the nation. Prices are nearly double what they were in January 2021. There are also concerns about rolling blackouts this summer due to an overburdened energy grid. But the Biden administration is committed to its war on fossil fuels. They claim it's going to save the planet. But who do their ambitious plans really help? And who do they hurt? Let's ask Jason Isaac. He is director of Life Powered, a national initiative of the Texas Public Policy Foundation to raise America's energy IQ. Jason, thanks for being here.
It's great to be on. Thanks for having me.
So fossil fuels have been demonized for decades by the left and by the Europeans and by the ESG investors. Give me a couple of points that the average American needs to know about the essential nature of fossil fuels here in this country.
Well, 50 years ago, they provided over 80% of the energy that we use on a daily basis. And today they provide just over 80% of the energy that we use on a daily basis. And if the current administration continues down its path of demonizing them, then in 50 years, they're still going to provide over 80% of the energy we use on a daily basis. But it's going to be a lot more expensive, and it's going to come from Russia and China. And it's going to devastate the American way of life and the American family that are just getting crushed with increasing cost because of this current administration.
So really, it's not about reducing dependence on these sources, because that really, you're saying that really hasn't worked. It's just, all it's doing is really raising prices, raising costs. We talk about inflation being a hidden tax, but when your government pushes electric vehicles on people who can't afford gas, it's a tax as well that hits the middle class and lower income Americans very hard. Talk to us about the disproportionate impact that, that this has on those folks.
Yeah, I think last year you had 24% of American households had to pick between paying their energy bill or putting food on their table or getting medicine for their families. They're having to pick. That's 24%. That's last year. And in last year alone, our increase in importing of Russian oil has gone up 160%. You look a year ago today, the cost for a ton of coal was just over $100. Today, that's over $400. Natural gas was right at $3. Today, it's over $8.50. That's what's powering the electricity that we're using predominantly in this country, and those costs are skyrocketing. You're going to have families at an increasing rate that are getting disconnect notices from utilities because they can't pay those bills, and it is because of the America Last policies that are being put in place that are propping up Russia, China, OPEC plus, to the detriment of the world environment. You look at the energy that we produce here in this country, and we produce it more responsibly than anywhere else on the face of the earth. We've reduced harmful pollution more than anyone else, and that's why the climate cult, this woke ideology, wants to focus on net zero, and that's detrimental to the American way of life.
So basically what I'm hearing from you is, even though we have been told, hey, the wind and solar and renewables, the price per kilowatt hour is coming down, it's very affordable. You're saying that that's not true. All it is doing is just making the fossil fuels more expensive, which is driving up costs.
That's absolutely right. The costs are increasing. Here in Texas alone, we will see a 70% increase in electricity rates this year. That's unattainable for families in this state. This $2,500 that just 6-7 years ago the American family was saving because of the shale revolution has been completely wiped out. And now, because of the policies of the last year and a half, the average American family is paying over $6,000 increased cost. So that's an $8,000 plus wipeout of American money because of increased cost in energy. These green bling and renewable dreams are turning into an absolute nightmare. It's foreign produced energy. The elements and everything that go into it come from China and places all over the world where they could care less about the environment, where they could care less about child labor laws.
Right.
And we're propping them up with subsidies, which those subsidies are coming out of one pocket, and then out of the other pocket are higher electric bills.
I've been talking about this for years, that you go down the road that Europe went down, gas and energy would skyrocket and it would tank our economy. This is a European model, just like the welfare state came over here from Europe. Now Biden and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, they want to take the European model and they are following it here. I want to talk about our energy grid. It's aging, it's overburdened. Biden knows that. Washington is not going to do anything about it. I don't care how much money they say they're going to spend on infrastructure. Let's talk about what states can do. What can states do to modernize their energy grid and ensure that the grid is more reliable?
Well, what the states can actually do is they can require a firming requirement, which means that electricity that's put on the grid must be dispatchable, not dependent on the weather, not dependent on when the wind blows or the sun shines. And so you can make all your producers or generators that put electricity on the grid have some means of backout so that we can meet peak demand. This is something the Texas Public Policy Foundation has proposed for years now, even before the blackouts in Texas last February. We're still working with our governor's office and the Public Utility Commission. And unfortunately, the Public Utility Commission, even though the governor has directed them to do this, to pass on the cost to the generators that cause the variability, namely wind and solar, as called out directly in the governor's directive, our Public Utility Commission here in Texas is still failing to implement this. But we need these agencies and these utility companies or commissions around the country to adopt it. There's already been one state that has passed this as legislation, and we're encouraging others to do this. It's a firming requirement to have firm, reliable, dispatchable electricity on the grid. That'll increase competition and lower costs.
All right, firming requirements. So if you're out there and you want to talk to your legislators, you want to talk about firming requirements, get the states to start doing something about our aging energy grid. Jason Isaac, thank you so much for being here and for your insights.
Great to be on. Thank you.